Hi, so today I'm going to go through with you all the things that I'm doing differently with baby number 2. So I gave birth to my daughter in July of 2022. Now, 2 years later, I will be giving birth to baby number 2. I will say we were blessed with just such a great, happy, chill baby, great sleeper. But even though she really was and still is an incredible baby and toddler, there are little things that I want to do differently and just try out and see if things go better doing something differently. So what I'll start with first are things that I will be doing again. When I was pregnant with Micaiah, in the second half of my pregnancy, more in the third trimester, I took a sleeping course and a birth course. So the sleeping course that Gabe and I did was taking care of babies, and we used taking care of babies just so much in our first year with Micaiah. Even though she was a very, very good sleeper, it was still so helpful and we still learned so much. So I'm just gonna give myself a little refresh because it's been 2 years and I'm sure there'll be just little things that I've forgotten about. And then the birth course that I got was one online. I can leave all of these links down below too. This one was called Built to Birth, and it was by a doula who also has a YouTube channel, and I watched so many of her videos pregnant with Micaiah. I still have her birth course. It is like for labor and delivery, and it also has like a postpartum section. So I think giving myself a little refresh will be really helpful. I've already had a lot of questions about whether I will be doing an epidural this time or trying unmedicated again. My first labor was very quick and pretty intense towards the end. I think just because it was so quick, like my contractions were pretty intense. I woke up in my sleep around 1 a.m. and she was born by 5:45. Just to me, flew in a couple seconds, but at the same time felt so long because you're just in that like weird zone of like, I'm in labor and there is no time. But I did go unmedicated the first time. I really wanted to try it, just see how far I could go. I ended up going the whole way. I ideally wanted to do a water birth, but things were happening where they had to transfer me to a bed and they gave me an episiotomy. So they cut me open and then helped her get out. This time around, I would like to do unmedicated again. I don't know, I feel like I had a good experience the first time, other than the little part at the end that was kind of hectic, but my plan right now is to do unmedicated again. By the way, just to fit the theme of the video, this was the shirt I actually labored in. I didn't give birth in this shirt because I was going from a tub to a bed. So I was in like underwear. I labored in this shirt, went to the hospital in this shirt, and after birth, when I got dressed again, got dressed in this shirt. So I have so many like pictures from the first day my daughter was born of like me cuddling her in this shirt. So I thought it was very fitting. I rarely wear it, but you know I will never get rid of it. Anyway, speaking of, my birth preferences are pretty much going to be the same. I think because my labor last time was so quick, a lot of this stuff I didn't even think about. I just like needed to get in the birthing suite and get in the tub. If things go to plan, which who knows if they will, my birth preferences will be to labor in the tub as much as possible, to have a dimly lit room, have music playing. I want to do intuitive pushing and then uninterrupted skin to skin right away, which is what I did get to do with Micaiah. The next thing is I definitely want to be doing contact naps again. I miss them. They were always so sweet. I feel like I actually did a really good balance of contact naps and her like sleeping in her bed and like learning how to sleep well in her bassinet. I do want to do more skin to skin though. I remember doing it in the beginning, but I don't know, I would like to do it more, especially the first day, like the first few days. Another big like question and topic is breastfeeding and formula. If I can, I would love to breastfeed again. With my first baby, I breastfed her until she was 13 months old, I think, and we supplemented formula a little bit as of 9 or 10 months. She would have 1 bottle of formula pretty much every day just to help with my supply because my supply was not keeping up. Breastfeeding was the hardest in the first few weeks. It was just very emotionally hard and like physically hard, and it hurt. So I am praying that this time around it is easier, but every baby is different. I also meant to say that at the start, like every baby is different. So many of these things may change, but but I am praying that I can breastfeed and that everything will go well. I actually worked with a lactation consultant in the beginning because breastfeeding was so difficult, and she came over a couple times. So I may find someone here that I can kind of line up to come see me once I have given birth, just in case I'm having trouble again. And on that same topic, another thing I will definitely be doing, probably doing it more this time, is using nipple cream. I feel like I definitely used it. This time it's lathering on 24/7. Something else that I liked that we did was introducing her to the bottle. We did that pretty early on. We did that initially for a few reasons. One was so Gabe could do a shift in the middle of the night, and then also just with the extra milk that I had that I was getting out with like the haka or with a breast pump, just being able to give that to her, letting like my parents be able to feed her and Gabe be able to feed her was really special. I definitely want to do that again. I feel like you hear a lot of people say like don't introduce the bottle because then your baby can get confused or like refuse your nipple. We didn't deal with that with Micaiah, so I feel like we will just try that again, and it was really helpful having the bottle option too. So the last thing I have on my list before I go into the products that I'm definitely reusing is Eat, Play, Sleep. That was really helpful for us in the beginning, just to, I don't know, it's like you go home from the hospital with your baby and you're like, what do I do now? So that worked really well for us. Obviously in the beginning we just did not have pressure on ourselves, like she was sleeping all the time and it like took a couple weeks, but Eat, Play, Sleep was really helpful for us in terms of like breastfeeding and then doing like tummy time and book time and songs and like getting outside. So we'll definitely redo that. Okay, the products that I will definitely be reusing. Number one, I'm going to have both a Velcro swaddle and a Love to Dream swaddle. We had started out with the Velcro swaddles, which worked great for a few weeks, but we found that Micaiah just really liked having her arms out and like arms up. So we tried the Love to Dream swaddle, which is where they can have their arms like still in the swaddle, but you have like your arms up like that. She loved that, and I feel like that was really easy for us then to, when we had to transition to one arm out and then two arms out, because she was already used to her arms kind of being up like this. I found that the transition was actually pretty easy versus if we were going like from when she was like kind of strapped in like this. So we will definitely be using both of those again, and I guess I'll see what this baby prefers and how they prefer to sleep. But the Velcro ones were really cute in the beginning because she would literally just sleep like this for a while until she kind of like started to move around a little bit and wanted to do that, and so it was just so cute. Oh, I can't wait. Another thing that we really loved was the newborn bath seat. I think it's called Angel Care or something. We just got it off Amazon. For the first 2 months of our daughter's life, we were in Australia. That's where I gave birth. We didn't have a bath, so my family got us like a little kind of portable bath that we set up in the kitchen, and we would bath her in that. And one of us would be holding her and then the other would be washing, and it was good for the time. But when we got back to the States and we got this bath like seat, it was so much easier because she was just like reclining on the seat and it was comfortable for her, and that lasted us a really long time until she was basically kind of just growing out of it and big enough to fully sit up, and that's when we got her a like different bath seat where she can sit up in it. So I'm excited to reuse that from the very beginning. The next thing is the Hatch sound machine. We've tried a few sound machines with Micaiah, and that is just the one that, I don't know, I feel like it's the best one. So I will definitely be getting another one of those for baby number 2. The next thing is the Doona car seat. So I just cannot rave enough about this car seat stroller situation. I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't, it works as both a stroller and then it folds up into a car seat, and you just need to like clip it into the base that it has in the car. Gosh, it was so easy. So we used the Doona until she didn't fit in it anymore. It was just so good to be able to put her in the stroller section, carry it out to the car, like walk it out to the car, and then fold it down and lift it into the car. And we had 2 bases for both of our cars, a base in each car. So instead of, now that we can't have the Doona anymore, we only have 1 car seat in 1 car. So that's kind of like our family car. Before, it was really helpful that we just had the freedom to take either car because we just had a base. The Doona is so good for traveling. If you're going to be on a plane, going through an airport, the Doona is like my number 1 recommendation to any of my friends. I think it is absolutely worth it. The last thing I have on my list, I feel like this list could have been a lot longer, but I will spare you. I do have a newborn essentials video that is probably similar to this list anyway, but the last thing on my products list is the app tracker that I have. I still use it, to be honest, only for tracking Micaiah's sleep, it's just so much easier than me tracking myself, like, okay, she fell asleep at 11:27. And then calculating like, okay, and she woke up at 1:52, and it's just easier if it's on the app. So I will be using this for baby number 2, but I use this a lot in the beginning for nursing, how long on what side, and then at the very beginning I was using it for wet, dirty, or mixed nappies, then how long they sleep, how long I pump. I was using the whole app, so it was really good. This one is called Baby Tracker, and it was free. Okay, so now moving on to things that I will do differently, things that I will not be doing this time around. I think the main difference would be I'm giving birth in America versus giving birth in Australia. I had a great experience giving birth in Australia, and all my family were over there, so it was really important for me to go over there. But it did teach me a lot. Outweighing the pros and cons was really hard. I would obviously love to have this baby with my family in Australia again. But one of the things was, I feel like when I got back to the States, I couldn't travel with like the pumped milk that I had. I think I probably could have if I like paid a lot to ship it, maybe like shipped it in dry ice or something like that, but we didn't do anything like that, so I wasn't able to bring my like milk stash with me. And so when we got back when she was 2 months old, I felt like I was starting from scratch. It was fine until the point where my supply wasn't keeping up and we started supplementing with formula, which ended up being totally fine too. But I think I was just thinking like, oh, if I had had my stash, like maybe I could have like kept giving her breast milk for a bit longer. And then the other thing is, I just think it'll be really nice to give birth and then come straight to my house. Like, we had a place that we were staying at in Australia, so that was really lovely, but I just am really excited to come home, like especially with Micaiah and all her routines, all her toys and all her stuff. Like, I feel like it's really important to keep her just on a really familiar routine, and so I think that will really help too. So that's obviously the biggest difference. The next thing is, I really want to try to make sure my whole birth is filmed. I haven't actually watched back my footage. I've looked at some pictures that Gabe took, but the footage we kind of like left rolling on a camcorder, and Gabe was filming a little bit, but then he just obviously like wanted to be present, and so he put the camera down somewhere, and we just didn't even think about it because there was so much going on. But then after Micaiah was born, we realized that someone had like maybe knocked the camera and had turned it to face the wall. I guess we have the audio of her being born, but we don't actually have like the footage, and that was a big bummer once I found that out. A little bit out of our control, and again, there was like a lot. It was pretty intense for a very short amount of time, so we both just weren't thinking about it. But I would really love proper full footage of it this time. If you have been following me since I gave birth last time, you would probably maybe know about my bad pumping experience that happened. So we went shopping right before I gave birth and just bought like literally the only pump that was on the shelf, and we were like, oh, this will do. Once my milk had come in and like I needed to get extra out, I did have the Haka, which was really good. I did want to be pumping too, and I just did not know how to use the pump, and it was bad. I don't know how I messed up so bad, but I have learned from it. But basically I got incredibly engorged, especially on one side, because this was still at a point where Micaiah and I were like getting the hang of breastfeeding. So she was like better on one side than the other, but then the bad side got so engorged that she like was totally not going on that side at all. And oh my gosh, I'm very surprised I didn't get mastitis, because I ended up going to hospital because it was so bad and I just needed help. It looked so bad. It looked like it was going to explode. And they helped me so much, and I'm so grateful. We ended up getting a different pump from a completely different place, and it was great. It is what I ended up using the whole way through and what I'll use for the next baby. I'll put it up on the screen. We got it from Australia, but I think you can get something similar here in the States, and it was just really good. It worked really well. Definitely not doing that again, and I don't know, I just feel like now it's going to be such a different experience because I have experience pumping and breastfeeding, and I hope it goes so much better this time. Hopefully no engorgement, no mastitis. Another thing I feel like we tried, and I'm not sure if we will try again again this time was we did try to do nighttime shifts. I had mentioned before that we started using a bottle so Gabe could do a shift at night, and we did that for a little bit because it was his way to help, and also like was great that he could give a bottle and like bond with the baby that way. But it was an issue because I ended up having to wake up anyway to pump, or I just like couldn't sleep through it. I would just wake up, and then so it got to a point where I was like, why are we both staying awake, like where I could just be breastfeeding her and putting her back down, and then Gabe at least gets like a bit more rest. And I feel like we will probably do that this time around because we do have a toddler. So I'm not sure if we will try to do a nighttime shift, only because I really feel like I'm going to wake up anyway. So in my brain, I'm like, I am just going to do the feeds during the night, and then Gabe can at least get some good rest to be with our toddler. I also want to be with Micaiah. Like, I don't want to just be with the baby, but I just feel like that will probably be the most realistic thing in the beginning. But if you have experienced something different, like if you have a great tip on how to do like shifts better than what we did, let me know. Another thing is maternity leave. Working from home is the biggest blessing, but I feel like we just didn't give ourselves a proper maternity leave. I did have 3 weeks where I didn't have any like deadlines or content that I had to do. At the 3-week mark is when I had started doing just brand work and emails and calls and everything again. And I feel like now, looking back, knowing that it was at the 3-week mark, I'm like, why did you not give yourself more time? Obviously, like brand work and stuff and content is how we pay our bills. So we didn't pre-record anything. I don't know if maybe I should look into that, like pre-recording some stuff, but I would really love if I could take like at least a month, like a full month of just like being in this space with our 2 kids, just learning and navigating all of that. It's really good. My team knows that I want like a good month at least. And so we will see, hopefully it works out. The next thing I have on my list is chatting with Gabe beforehand about visitor boundaries. And I don't think that was something that we did. I don't think we did that in Australia when we had our first baby. And I think that was because the only people that were coming over in the beginning were my family, and they were coming over to, one, obviously like spend time with the baby. They also came to like cook and clean for us and just let us like rest or take a shower or do whatever we needed to do. So they were like so helpful, literally fed us every single day. I don't know, we didn't have any of our like friends or other family come visit, I think for maybe a month or so. I'm pretty sure that just happened quite naturally. But here, my mum is going to be here to help out, which I'm very excited for, and it's just going to be so helpful for those first few weeks. But in terms of like having other friends and family over, I feel like it would be really helpful to talk about it, because we have a lot of guests usually. Like, we always have people over, always have people staying here. So I feel like it would just be really good for us to set some boundaries, whatever we are both comfortable with, especially in the beginning, those first few weeks. Just had to come and reheat my tea. Classic. Maybe one of these days I'll get one of those warmer cups. I walk around the house with my tea. Like, I don't even know if a warmer mug, if I would even use it properly. Anyway, the next one that I've said is I really would like to use the Mamaroo more. So the Mamaroo is like this seat for the baby that can move around, or it can play music. We didn't have it for the first 2 months in Australia, but when we came back to the States, we had it and started to use it. But I don't know why, if it was because we didn't have it the first 2 months or if it was my guilt, but I felt so bad putting her in there. I think now looking back, it would have been really good for her to just chill by herself for a little bit. Yeah, for some reason I just felt bad like leaving her in there. But I think this time, especially with a toddler, things like that will be so helpful. Even like to cook or to do dishes. If the baby is content in there, I feel like we will use it a lot more. Kind of on the same topic is baby carriers. We did not baby wear ever. I had one and I think I was just so intimidated by it. This is another thing, if you have the best baby carrier and also like the easiest one to use, please let me know down below, because I had a few and they all intimidated me. I didn't know how to put it on by myself, and so I did it twice in the house just to like test it out and walk around the house, and she didn't stay in there very long. It didn't work. But this time I would really like to learn how to baby wear properly. That is one of the biggest tips people have said to me, is like baby wear, so you can be with your toddler or you can get something in the house done. And yeah, I just did not do that at all the first time. So I think I've already mentioned, but Micaiah was a very good sleeper, like pretty much from the 6-week mark, like sleeping through the night. She also didn't really have a problem with where she slept. I think we did a good job, like a good balance of that, of like having her naps at home, but then also like she could sleep in the car, she could sleep out at a restaurant, she could sleep at church. Like she was just very good at sleeping on the go. But when we were at home, we would put her down like out in the living room or something. Like it wouldn't be in her bassinet, like in her room properly. It took me a while to get to the point of like, let's just try to do her naps like all in the bassinet. And once we had gotten to that point, she napped so much better. And I just remember kind of kicking myself going like, what were we doing? Just having her like sleep out in the living room. Like, I mean, we were just learning as we were going, but I think this time I still want to have that balance where this baby can like be good on the go, also like taking naps in their bassinet, in their proper like environment, if that makes sense, while also doing contact naps. Like I just need to find the balance, which I'm sure I will, but I definitely want to do more in the bassinet. Also on the topic of sleep, we are getting a new baby monitor, one that has a split screen, and this one is not Wi-Fi. So the one that we have right now is like a Wi-Fi, like so you can have it on your phone. But the one that we have, like my app doesn't even work. It did in the beginning. It's weird. It just like has stopped working. And even the reviews on Apple, like on the App Store, I think it's like 2 stars. It's like very bad. And it's such a bummer because in the beginning when we found a babysitter and we like went out on a date, it was really helpful for me to be able to see the monitor, see that she was asleep or see that she was making a noise. It was like such great peace of mind for me, but that just didn't last very long. And then the app broke. So I just haven't used it in so long that I don't know. We're not getting a Wi-Fi one this time, and we'll see how we go in terms of like going out on a date. And I'm probably just going to need like babysitter updates all the time that like the baby is fine. The next thing that I really want to do this time around is prep more food. I didn't prep any food last time. Thankfully, I had my family. They were very helpful. My mom cooked for us like every single day. And even though she is coming this time too, I think I would just like to prep some stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be meals, but like snacks, like just anything that will be really helpful. I think a lot for Micaiah, like I really want to keep her on a really good routine. She really thrives off of like a good daily routine. So yeah, just prepping her favorite snacks. Like she has this like frozen banana snack that she loves, and I think I could like bulk prep that or prep some muffins and put them in the freezer. I think anything like that would be really helpful. My plan is to prep more. I need to like maybe search on YouTube like what people prep, like good things to prep for postpartum, but that is my goal. Another thing that a friend sent me, actually, I'll need to go on my Instagram and find the company, but it is this lady or this farm, or I don't know, they just have a company where they prep kind of like meal kits for postpartum mums. It sounds amazing. I'm definitely going to look into it because I think it really focuses on like the mom's nutrition and in that like postpartum time of healing. It looked really great. So I'm going to look into that, and maybe I could get that because I think they'll all come like either to go in the fridge or the freezer, and then you can just like cook it up really quick. Another thing, and I guess you guys can let me know if you've used this, is I'm going to be looking into the owlet, like the little sock thing. It wasn't even something I looked into at the beginning, but I am interested this time around. I think, gosh, the first time, like I would just wake up to anything, any noise. I have videos on my phone recording her breathing because I mean, newborns just breathe so loud, and I was so nervous at anything. I'm gonna look into that. Let me know if you've used it and if you think it is worth it, because I think if it gives me a nice peace of mind, I might be able to rest a little bit better. The next thing is I really want to take more, I guess, home videos with me and Gabe in them, because our whole camera rolls are full of videos of Micaiah every single day when she was a baby, which is such a blessing that we have that. But I think now also like having Micaiah like being a toddler, I would really just love to film more home video style, like maybe on our camcorder, just to have as memories, not just like a bunch of photos on my iPhone. And I really want to make sure that we are in them. I feel like as a mom, you're like always taking videos and always taking pictures, but you really need to prioritize and make sure that you are in them too for memories, because I already like wish I was in more videos when Micaiah was like baby. This one is for when the baby is a little bit older, but with Micaiah's naps, once she was a bit older and like in a routine, her naps were like 20 to 25 minutes. They were so short, and we really struggled for a little bit, and I was like, how does anyone get stuff done? Like how, it was just so confusing for me. And I ended up taking the Taking Care of Babies nap training course, and we implemented like a few things. It was such easy little simple changes. It would shock you, and her naps went to like straight away within a day being an hour plus. Since then, she's been a great napper, and I just regret doing that so late because we did wait a while. I think the course recommends it from 5 months old, and I think we waited till she was like 7 or 8 months to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she could have been napping so much better. And truly, it was so beneficial for everyone. I'm definitely going to implement those things much earlier if we do have that like struggle with short naps again. Another thing that may seem obvious is that we are just buying less this time around. We are changing the rooms. So Micaiah's nursery is going to be the baby's room, and then she's going to go to a different room. So we do need to like decorate the rooms eventually. But other than that, I feel like we really aren't buying that much stuff other than like a new monitor and a sound machine. Postpartum stuff, like I really liked the postpartum underwear and like the icy pads. I'm trying to think of what I put on my registry, but it's very little compared to the first time around. I feel like you feel like you need so much stuff. Maybe we will need something that we don't have, but you know, you run to a store down the road or you order on Amazon and it comes the next day. I think this time around, it's just a lot more chill. We also have so many hand-me-down clothes and toys that we are definitely set in that department. That one's a simple one, but we are definitely buying less. I don't even know if we've bought anything. For the most part, we're going to be using hand-me-down clothes, and it's going to be great. Hand-me-down toys. Okay, really quickly, these are some products that I will not be using this time around. When I was first postpartum, when we first came home with the baby, I had this big like cart, like an IKEA cart of diaper supplies, water bottles and snacks, and it was so full. And I had seen people recommend this, and so I was like, this is gonna be great. It's like right next to my bed. It's got nappies, wipes, yeah, snacks, water bottle, maybe like baby clothes, like a change of clothes. It was maybe good for the first few days, and then I just realized I did not need like a 3-tier shelf. So this time around, I think I'm just gonna fill a little basket of nappies and wipes, snacks. I'm gonna have a water bottle next to me. I don't know, I think I totally overdid it the first time. And then I also just had like a little pad that you'd like unfold, and that we changed her on our bed, and that was perfect. So the next thing is a wipe warmer. We bought this. We actually purchased it in America and took it in our luggage with us to Australia, and we didn't use it once. I ended up giving it to a friend. I won't be repurchasing this unless the baby clearly like has an issue in the night with cold wipes. Then maybe I'd look into it, but I don't think it's an essential that you need before the baby comes, because Micaiah was totally fine with cold wipes. I feel like it actually was kind of soothing for her, so she had no problem. So we'll obviously, every baby's different. We'll see what this baby is like, but for now we will not be repurchasing a wipe warmer. Another one that we'll see if I stick to it, but I am not that interested in using a diaper bag anymore. I don't use one with Micaiah anymore. If we go out, I'll like take my normal bag and I'll like throw nappies and wipes in there. Maybe a snack, maybe a dummy. Like I really don't need this whole backpack. Maybe once I have a newborn again, there's probably like a lot of stuff that I'm forgetting about that I will need a backpack for, but I just don't want to carry around a backpack. So I have a nice big bag that like is quite big that would fit a lot of stuff in it, so I might use that if I need to put a lot of stuff in. Otherwise, I'm just looking for kind of like a medium-sized bag that could fit my phone, my wallet, my sunglasses, a couple nappies and wipes, like nothing too big, like just something kind of medium-sized. So we will see if I stick to that, but right now I don't use a nappy bag anymore, so I don't plan on it. That is my list. I feel like I rambled and rambled and rambled, and there was still so much stuff that I haven't even thought about, or like we just have so much baby stuff in the basement that I haven't gone through yet, and I know I'm forgetting stuff. Hopefully this has been helpful or interesting. In general, my goal is just to trust my mum instincts, because they truly are a thing, and I feel like I just learned so much by being in it and being with my baby. So trusting my instincts, trusting myself, and just being as relaxed and flexible as I can be. I am just really excited to be home with the family during this time and soaking it all in. So that, I think overall, even though I've given you this massive long list, that is overall our goal, is just to take it easy, go with the flow, and just like really soak in this time with 2 kids. I really cannot believe it. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.